Welcome back to Corner Man Boxing. I'm your boy Manolo Live and Direct. Let's get into it. What a night of fights. Honestly, we had some upsets, more like robberies. But before I get into any of that, right, because there were two separate events going on, and I think I was most excited with the fight that kind of least mattered, if I can say that without anybody getting upset, right? You guys killing me. But I want to give a big shout out to Sean Garcia. What a heart you have, and to be honest with you, right? Because I also have to give a big shout out to Armando Vargas, who came to fight, came to win, and did exactly that. But I'm gonna just say this: watching that fight right from the giddy up, for me, what I saw, it didn't look like Sean Garcia even wanted to be there. I'm saying that because of his facial expressions and I know fighters, right? When you're fighting in a ring, you can tell when somebody's just kind of hanging in there, if you get what I'm saying, right? But they're tough. They're tough and they got heart, and they're not just going to let you mow them over. So when they do let loose, you see these shades of talent that you're just like, oh my God. And that's what I saw in Ryan. Excuse me, not Ryan. That's his older brother. By the way, if y'all don't know who Sean Garcia is, that is the little brother of Ryan Garcia, who's 23 years old, was undefeated up until tonight. And that sucks. I guess this is why fighters like Gervonta Davis, Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, all them guys at that caliber now, they're at that high level. This is why they protected their records so early, because they were looking to have that zero, you know what I mean, that undefeated number for so long. But I think that that's hype, right? Like, cause look, in UFC, guys have many losses, right? They come back, they're still exciting to watch, and we don't clown them, right? Because to be honest with you, we know that they're very dangerous still, and still pose a danger to their opponent. So I think I kind of like this, is what I'm saying. I like that these young fighters who Armando Vargas was 10-0 before tonight, I believe. Now he's 11-0. Sean Vargas, I think, shared the same record, 10-0. I don't mind seeing the big name. They have the names because of their dads. Let's just keep it real. Let's just keep it real. Without the names, we wouldn't probably had entertained this fight the way we did. That's a fact. But you know what? We did get to entertain it, right? We did get to see it, and we got to see some things. By the way, if you guys don't know, Armando Vargas is the son of Fernando Vargas, who has two other sons, and they're just as good, if not better. So now that we got that out the way, the fight itself was super, super effing exciting. If you're a boxing fan and you want to see excitement, go look up Armando Vargas versus Sean Garcia, and what you'll see is a bang out. Right? I mean, a true bang out. There's not a lot of fundamentals there, right? There's textbook boxing has kind of gone out the window. This is just throwing hard punches, but there is some IQ. I will give you that. There is some IQ. There's a lot of game planning going on there. Armando stuck to the game plan. His father ordered him to go for the body the entire fight, and that's what he did. That's what he did. And when Ryan would drop his hands, go upstairs. Very easy plan to follow. Armando happened to do it to the T tonight. So, but I give Sean all the credit in the world. You have the heart of a lion. And here's what I'm telling you, Sean. If you, just like I tell your brother, if he just cuts the nonsense, if you take this sport serious, if you give it the time, you could and would be a force to be reckoned with. Again, what I saw was that you were flat-footed. Got to work on that. Your defense, got to work on that, right? a lot of the things you need to work on. But again, guys, we're talking about guys who are in their 10th fight. They got big names because of their dads, and they're still learning the ropes. Give these guys some time, and this depends on their choices in life, right? It depends on what they plan to do with their careers in boxing. I absolutely already know just by looking at the training camp for Armando Vargas, looking at Fernando Vargas as the father and the trainer, training his other two sons. That is an absolute dynasty waiting to happen. Them kids are going to go far in the game. As far as Sean Garcia, honestly, I can't even tell you that I looked into you too much. I think I was too focused on your brother and the things he was doing. So I apologize for not putting the time into you and checking you out the way I have the Vargases. But I promise you this, moving forward, I think that I'll do that. So long as you give me what I need in order to do that. You understand what I'm saying? You gotta get in the gym. You gotta film yourself sparring, hitting the pads, taking it serious. And I honestly do believe you're going to be a force to be reckoned with. When you let loose, because you were doing this blocking thing, like you were like just sitting there and letting Armando hit you to the body and to the head, and I was like, what is he doing? Just open up. Once you opened up, your punches look devastating. If they landed, you have the same hook as your brother, just the opposite, right? You're a left-hand fighter, so your hook is with the right. But you have a devastating hook. If you listen, I don't even have to say it anymore. Take this more serious and you'll see what happens. Promise you. And I would love to see that. I would really love to see that. Family, maybe even Ryan trains you one day, who knows. Moving forward, right? Because that fight was super exciting. Please go check it out. Moving forward, I was talking with Andre Durrell tonight. I had a chance to chop it up with him on Instagram. He was on his live. We were commenting back and forth. Before I get into the upset and the robbery, I do have to give Abdullah Mason a huge, huge shout out. This kid, guys, is 20 years old. 20. He is on his way, I believe, from what I've seen, to being a top 5 lightweight within the next year or two. If he completes that goal, being top 5 and, chasing the title, I think this kid has the ability. He has the motivation. I really do think he can be one of the greats. I'm seeing that early. Abdullah Mason totally destroyed Louis LeBron. And I know Louis LeBron for being a better fighter than what he showed up tonight. Whether he was in the ring with a superior talent tonight, I mean, that really did show. That's what it looked like. This kid Abdullah Mason, his combos are pristine, right? He throws them with bad intention. Like, you know what I mean? This kid has all the tools, man. He's got the head movement. He's got the angles. He's got it all. So look out for that name going forward. Abdullah Mason is going to be a force to be reckoned with, and I can see some big things coming from him very soon, very soon. But let's go forward into the Robinson Conceição. Conceição, is that how you say that? Conceição from Brazil. First Brazilian man. First of all, Robinson Conceição was the first Brazilian man to fight in the Olympics. I'm not sure if he won a gold medal or silver medal, bronze, I'm not sure. But he fought Shakur Foster tonight. Guys. So I want to bring up like we've seen upsets before. We've seen robberies before. There's a difference between the two. Let's talk about a very famous fight, right? That I think, and the only reason I bring this up is because I think most people on my channel that are boxing fans will recognize who I'm talking about and why I'm talking about them in a minute. We're going to talk about Oscar De La Hoya when he fought Tito Trinidad. I've watched that fight, bare minimum, at least, if I had to put a real number on it, at least 60 to 70 times in my entire life. For many reasons. One, I was a huge Tito fan. Two, I was a huge Oscar fan. I really wanted to understand the fight, who won the fight, why the judges swayed. I mean, yeah, chose Tito as the winner. It took me a while to understand that, right? Watching the interview after, Oscar says something that I think will echo for eternity in boxing. What he said was, he goes, I wanted to put on a boxing show. Meaning, he wanted to prove to Tito Trinidad that he was a level above him. That he could throw his combos and get out of the way without being hit and totally be at angles you couldn't find him at and win the fight that way. Problem with that, during that time, judges looked at that as being afraid of mixing it up with Tito Trinidad. And Tito Trinidad was the aggressor, right? So even though, and we've seen this happen before with Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler. Many people think Marvin Hagler won that fight. It's debatable. De La Hoya did the same thing. He ripped a page right out of Ray Leonard's book. He would jump in, throw 4 hit combos, get out, get on his bike, keep moving. Anytime Tito would stop, right? Tito would follow him, pressure him. Anytime he'd land that front foot, he'd throw his combos, right? He would catch him off balance until somewhere around maybe the 6th round, right? 7th round, where Oscar became a little less active and more on his bike, right? Just defending. That's it. No, not much throwing. And what you saw was Tito climbing the scorecard slowly but surely, based off him landing big shots, but not many. You know what I'm saying? When someone lands 10, 12 punches in a round and the other guy hasn't thrown any, I mean, yeah, you know what I mean? That's not a lot of punches in a round, but he's the guy who scored a high percentage. So Oscar ends up losing that fight in Vegas, where no one conceivably ever would have thought Oscar would have ever lost a decision. If anything, Oscar had a better chance of losing a decision in New York in Madison Square Garden because that was Tito's home, right? So that happened today, right? That kind of happened today with Robinson Conceição and Shakur Foster. Shakur Foster put on a great performance. I don't even know what he could have done better, right? The guy, it wasn't like he was in the pocket, but he controlled distance, barely got hit, put his combos together, never really was hurt in the fight. But again, he was not the aggressor. He was more of the defensive boxer. And when you have someone who's pressuring you like that, like Robinson was, it can make you a little uncomfortable, right? It can make you fight a different fight. And it can look different to the judges. Again, I don't see where Shakur lost this fight. I really don't. I don't. I think the judges completely got this wrong. And I think there should be judges for judges at this point. Because this is crazy. The entire crowd basically booed. Like, there was nothing, no one agreed with this. You understand what I'm saying? This was bad. And it kind of had me nervous going into the Shakur fight, because if that's how they were judging this fight, then woof, Shakur's not much different of a fighter than, I mean, he's at a higher level than Shakur, but same kind of thing, right? He's a defensive fighter. He will attack. He's more of a counter attacker, right? And once he figures you out, once he's got enough data, Shakur will press forward and he bullies you at that point. But yeah, just to finish off this Conceição and Shockey Foster thing, how sad that was to watch the interview at the end. Obviously Shockey was a little emotional, but I'm glad that you said that you'll be back, right? And you want this rematch, and you should. You should absolutely 100% get this rematch. This guy is not the champion. You were robbed tonight. And big shout out to you, man, because you fought your heart out and you were robbed. So, and that sucks that happened to you. So, let's hope that the commission tries its best to get this in order, because boxing fans don't want to see this. You know what I mean? Fans hate seeing. Listen, we don't mind. An upset. We don't even mind a very close fight that we might argue and say, well, nah, I don't think he won. We don't even mind that. But when the scorecards are, I don't even know how your scorecards were that close. The copy box numbers were way far apart. I mean, it was night and day. That's a discrepancy. We can't have that. That makes the sport of boxing look bad. It makes the commission look bad. Like it's guys, get it together. You got to fix this. This is crazy. A guy was robbed tonight of his title. This is what I mean about belts, almost in a way. I'm starting to believe it too. Like belts don't matter. They just don't. Like how this happened, I really don't know. If you want to go watch the fight, it's actually not a super exciting fight. It's kind of boring, but it happened, and that's the moral of the story, man. That's whack. But going into Shakur now, right? Watch a Shakur fight. Guys, I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say. You're going to say Shakur is boring, right? And this was just yet another... And you know what? I got to get into this part too. This was another outing where you're being showcased, right? Understand what I'm saying verbatim, please. I need you to realize that you're being showcased. Here's the thing. Your name is Shakur Stevenson, and everybody speaks about you at the top level. You're talking about getting fights with Tank. You're talking about getting fights with Lomachenko. You're talking about Teofimo Lopez, maybe even a Keyshawn Davis. Isaac Cruz is in that discussion. Devin Haney's in that discussion. These are top-notch fighters. If you can't put away Artem, right? Like no kidding. And I like Artem a lot. I think Artem's a great talent. So Artem, no disrespect to you, I promise. I have a hard time pronouncing your last name. It's Artyunyan. Is it Artyunyan or Harutyunyan? Artem Harutyunyan, you are a special talent. A little older. I'm going to be real with you. I don't believe that you should have been in the ring with Shakur Stevenson tonight. But in rebuttal to that, right, you did, I think, in my opinion, you did put on a good fight. I scored this fight rounds 1, 2, and 3, maybe even 4 for Artem. The thing is, guys, right, I'm a boxing fanatic. I am an analyst, and I know what I'm watching. I see all the little intricate things that are happening in there. So before you go and call Shakur Stevenson boring, understand that what he's doing in there is masterful and it's artwork. He is collecting data, right? You can listen. I know people like to do this, right? I know you can take what I'm saying and flip it and say, nah, he's just scared. He was just scared until he figured out that Artem couldn't punch hard. And then he figured he had him, right? He could just come forward and do whatever he wanted because Artem wasn't going to hurt him. True, to a degree, true. But there's game plans. When these fighters get in there, they have to stick to that game plan, right? Things can change as you're in there, right? It's why you have a corner man to discuss, okay, did you feel him rounds 1 and 2? How fast is he? Is he that powerful? How do those punches feel? If they're not, if that corner's not worried about you moving forward and pressing, and they're gonna tell you to move forward and press. This guy can't hurt you. Like that. This is how it works. So I believe strongly that because I was watching the corner with what's his grandfather's name? Shakur Stevenson had his grandfather in his corner. And while his grandfather's trying to talk to him, Shakur, I got to be honest, sometimes you just got to listen. Just listen, right? I mean, even if you don't agree, right? I mean, you're at a different level in boxing, but even if you don't agree, because I didn't see Bomac in your corner. I know that's you trained with that camp. Even if you don't agree, let the man speak. You weren't really taking in what he was saying. So I think you fought with a lot of ego tonight, but again, your IQ so high that you were successful in how you wanted to win this fight, and you won. I just think, again, people are going to say you're boring, and what I saw was a technician, a different style of fight. You know, let me say this. For years, people did not like to watch Floyd Mayweather fight. Why? Because they said he was boring. They said that he wasn't a offensive fighter, and do you understand what I'm saying? You know this. Everybody who's a fight fan knows this. For years, Floyd Mayweather had to deal with that. People thinking he was boring. Okay, right? But what he was doing in there was artwork. It was masterful. He was a technician. He would block everything and then counteract you and find those angles, right? I mean, that's literally kind of what I saw tonight from Shakur. You collected all the data to about round 3 and 4, then you started to let loose, and I understand why, right? Because Artem is he's not your average fighter, right? He's very difficult to fight. He's unorthodox. Is that how you would say that? He's very unorthodox. The guy, he was level changing. He was feinting a lot. He was at angles. His head's moving everywhere. And guys, keep in mind that Artem fought Frank Martin and gave Frank Martin a run for his money. I mean, all the way for his money too. So again, that's another fighter in your weight class. You know what I mean? That you could potentially be in line for is a fight with Frank Martin, Shakur. But again, how are you going to make an argument for these fights if you're going 12 rounds with an Artem, like Harutyunyan? He's not even supposed to be in the ring with you. As a matter of fact, Shakur, you're not supposed to be fighting on ESPN. You're not. That's a network. Everybody who loves boxing, I'm so happy I was able to enjoy it without having to spend $80 to watch you fight. But again, you know what I'm saying? Like you're not supposed to be there. This is not the right thing for you. So I think moving forward for you, right? Because you're such an exceptional talent, your name is going to be spoken about in the realm of a Tank Davis, Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez, any one of them guys, Keyshawn Davis, any one of them guys, Isaac Cruz, you name it, right? It's all possibility. Haney. But with outages like this, you don't make a good argument for a big payday. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because you haven't signed with Top Rank, because you say you know your worth and you want more money. I also remember months and months and months ago, I believe, obviously, I think this was last year, where you were discussing a fight with Devin Haney. He offered you a 70-30 split, and you told him no. So here's my thing, right? You could have had a name like Haney under your belt, even if the payday wasn't as big. I understand that you know your worth. But when you didn't sign with Top Rank, I think you did yourself a huge injustice. First of all, Top Rank are the very people who groomed you to this point. You are who you are today because of Top Rank. So I think they did good by you. But I also believe Top Rank, again, it's a business, and it's a horrific business too. Like, it's not always going to go your way. If you're not the star that a Devin Haney became, or a Ryan Garcia, and Ryan's not a star because of promotional anything. He's more of a star because of his own social media, and he did that on his own. But what I'm saying is Top Rank isn't going to offer you big contracts if you're not projected to do big numbers. Do you understand? See, Devin Haney's dealing with that right now, right? And Matchroom has said it. De La Hoya has said it. I think that the reason that Devin Haney, even got to the point where he's at, as far as being in the top 5, it's not because of his skill, right? It's the selection of fighter that they put in front of him. Like, Lomachenko was a perfect dance partner for him. Obviously, because he was smaller. Devin Haney's no pushover. He's a good fighter. But that fight was pushed to the limit. Some people think he even lost that fight, but he won it. We can't argue that. He won it. So, again, it's the person in front of you, right? And because he's been able to beat Lomachenko, beat Kambosos to be undisputed twice, he beat Regis Prograis for the WBC, and then he goes on, right? I mean, it's the selection of the fighter in front of you. So Devin Haney obviously has made it to a point where he's very successful in the sport, and he also has his own promotional company. But again, let's bring up a point in that. This is why Matchroom didn't bid on the fight for him to fight Sandor Martin, because they didn't feel like, one, they didn't feel like they were going to win that bid because they weren't even going to come above $2 million. Do you understand that part of it? Top Rank came in at $2.4 million. Devin Haney was upset that Top Rank didn't put a bid in for that because he felt like he was worth more, and Top Rank was the only one who bid for it. But Matchroom made a great point. Well, you're a promotional company yourself. Why didn't you bid for yourself? If you believe in yourself that much, why didn't you bid for yourself? Do you see what I'm saying? And it's because loss and risk is very much a real thing in the sport of boxing. So that Shakur, again, we're speaking about Shakur. Let's get back to him. That is why I believe you need to sign with Top Rank, at least for a 3 to 5 fight deal. I know you don't like the numbers. You feel like you're worth more, but at least let them put the right fighters in front of you. They've done good by you so far. Let them put the right fighters in front of you, build that name a little more, and then you can truly go. Let's see what happens within those 5 fights too, because, listen, again, Artem is not a pushover. The guy had 300 amateur fights before turning pro. The guy came in as a pro. After 300 fights in the amateurs, you're a pro. I mean, what else could you learn and what else could you go through in a fight before you could say I'm a pro? So he's no pushover. I would put Artem easily top 10, top 15 in any weight class. You know what I mean? I don't think you're top 5, but I mean, you surely did. You know what? Actually, before I say that, you definitely did good tonight against Shakur. That's a fact. So, Shakur, again, I just believe I wouldn't listen to the hype of the fans, but again, the fans do pay the bills. I mean, Top Rank pays you, but without the fans, Top Rank don't make the promotion happen, and the money don't come in. So I know you're talking about going back to the gym and working on cutting off the ring and your pressure style, and you should, right? Because that's what you struggled with tonight. But I think you need to work on your business and your name and your brand, figuring that out, because I think you're going to struggle. Even if you do get to fight the big names, they're not going to be at the numbers you want. That's really what you're struggling with, finding a fight that you're comfortable signing for the amount that you think you're worth. So, what a night of fights. Honestly, if I had to say fight of the night, I'm going to give it to Armando Vargas and Sean Garcia. Even though that wasn't a championship fight, that was probably the most exciting one for me. Oh my God, I'm forgetting Keyshawn Davis. Oh wow, how could I do that? Keyshawn, I'm sorry, brother. Keyshawn had a great fight tonight. Listen, my bad, Keyshawn. My bad. You know what? I'll cover you in another video. But just so you guys know, Keyshawn was victorious tonight. He fought a very, very, very aggressive fighter. Manue, what was his name? Miguel Manue. I forgot to say his last name. Manua. I can't say his last name. Miguel. The guy was a very pressful fighter. Aggressive too. I think he had Keyshawn feeling very uncomfortable in there. But again, Keyshawn is a technician. He did exactly what he wanted to do in that fight. Didn't get the knockout, but Keyshawn, I think you got big things coming for you. I honestly think moving forward, you need to work on bigger names. I know you said in their post interview that you're not going to say the big names no more. They know who you are. Cool, I get it, but make the argument for the fight because you are really that good. This style of fight tonight that I saw you fight against, that was difficult. And you know what? My hat is tipped to you because normally when you get in there with a puncher like that and he's aggressive and the pressure's on like that, you can fall out of your game plan. The IQ goes away and you can make a mistake in there. You did not do that, sir. So for me, you're absolutely a top 5 fighter. And I think there's big things down the road for you. So that's what I have for you guys tonight. Manolo Live and Direct. I'm out.